Hello, good morning. Welcome to the class, my dear students of class 8. So, in the last class, I had sent you an animation regarding the lady or the tiger, and we had come to know, as far as I had explained you regarding the king's barbarism, where we had got the idea how the justice was done. Okay, so there was an arena where the trial would go, and it was the fate of the criminal, okay, which door he would eventually choose, either get killed or either get married. All right, so please look at your book. We'll continue. Okay, when all the people had assembled in the galleries, and the king, surrounded by his court, sat high up on his throne of royal state on one side of the arena, he gave a signal, a door beneath him opened, and the accused subject stepped out into the amphitheater. So you can imagine, okay, the king sat on high. So there was a high wall. Okay, this gallery was there, and apart from the gallery, there was this high wall where he would sit, and there was a trap door. Okay, two trap door was there beneath. Okay, that is underground. Okay, so from the ground beneath, the trap door would open, and anything could happen. So you can just see the intents of the king. Okay, the intents of the king to give justice, a fair trial to the person who had crimed. Directly opposite him, on the other side of the enclosed space, were two doors. As I said, there were two doors opposite of him. So you can just imagine the king at the center, okay, of the amphitheater, at the side of the amphitheater, and opposite of him was two doors, exactly alike and side by side. So this door was exactly the same, identical. And you have to give a credit of the craftsmanship that was done before in the earlier period. Okay, so they were highly skilled people, highly skilled labor, and whatever the king ordered, they had to do exactly the same. And this door was exactly side by side. It was the duty and the privilege of the person on trial to walk directly to these doors and open one of them. So just imagine how brutal it is. Two trap doors identical, and the man accused had to walk straight and had to open the door. Any moment, anytime, anything could happen. So just imagine yourself how scary it is. If we happen to face that situation, what would we do? We would run away, or maybe we would scream. But here, there was no option of screaming and running away. You had to face the consequences. He could open either door he pleased. So it's a choice. As I said, the king would give the door which he would like to open. He was subject to no guidance or influence but that of the aforementioned impartial and incorruptible chance. So there was no favorism out here. There was no guidance. There was no luck. Okay, so it was your fate that determined which door you would choose, either get married or either get killed or devoured by the ferocious tiger. If he opened the one, there came out of it a hungry tiger, the fiercest and most cruel that could procured, which immediately sprang upon him and tore him to pieces as a punishment of his guilt. So you can just imagine the tiger which was brought in the arena was ferocious, was very, very aggressive, was a tiger that was hungry, ready to kill, ready to devour, ready to tear the man into pieces. So you can just imagine the brutality of the tiger and the king's mindset as well. The tiger's mentality speaks of the king's mindset. So he would not let a criminal go just like that. He had to pay the price, and that was death. Okay? The moment that the case of the criminal was thus decided, doleful iron bells were clanged, great wails went up from the hired mourners posted on the outer rim of the arena, and the vast audience, with bowed heads and downcast hearts, wended slowly their homeward way, mourning greatly that one of the young fair, also old and respected, should have merited so dire a fate. So once the tiger killed the man, so clanging of the iron chains, bells were there. The mourners, okay, they used to mourn, they used to keep their head down, they used to cry, they used to wail loudly, okay, and it was believed that it was their fate. Since they did their mistake, they had to pay the price. And what was the price? It was the death. There was no second chance in king's justice. But now there's a clause, but if the accused person opened the other door, that means the other door where there were no tiger, there came forth from it a lady. So now this is a happy moment. If you happen to open the next door, there came a lady, a woman, the most suitable to his years and station that His Majesty could select among his fair subjects. So the lady that was there would be the fairest, the most intelligent one. Okay, it was no ordinary woman that was kept in the door. Behind the door, there was a fair lady. And to this lady, he was immediately married as a reward of his innocence. So now he was married to this lady immediately. So there was no free will of the man. After saving his life, he would not get a chance, or I would not get married to this woman. He was immediately married to this man. So you can just imagine how forceful the laws were, the king's law. If the king wanted, he would do whatever he wanted. So as I said in my earlier class, barbarism, okay, was there in all the decisions that the king made. There was no choice at all. It mattered not that he might already possess a wife and a family, or that his affections might be engaged upon an object of his own section. The king allowed no subordinate arrangements to interfere with his great scheme of retribution and reward. It means there was no choice. You had to get married, and there was no time of affection, there was no time of love. Once you get the lady, you had to get married. The exercises, as in the other instance, took place immediately and in the arena, as I've explained you. Another door opened beneath the king, and a priest, followed by a hand of choristers and dancing maidens, blowing joyous airs on golden horns and treading an epithalamic measure, advanced to where the pair stood side by side, and the wedding was promptly and cheerfully solemnized. Okay, now there was another trapdoor where the priest would come, they would get married, there were dancers, there were choirs, there was singing, there were horns. Unlike today, where you have music. Yes, where you have huge sound box, you have DJ playing, even in the marriage. But in the early days, there were horns, they used to blow horns, they used to clap, there were dancers, there were singers. Okay, they would play, and that is how they used to do the marriage. Then the gay brass bells rang for the merry the people shouted glad hurrahs, and the innocent man, preceded by children, string flowers on his path, led his bride to his home. So this is typically again a Christian marriage, where they would throw flowers, okay, in front of the bride. People would sing hurrah. So this was how the marriage was done, and this is how still it is done. In most of the marriages we see, even in TVs, even in the movies we see. So there was no choice at all for the person. They had to get married, and that is how it was done. So the king forced everything, whatever was said. So thank you, my dear students. We resume in the next class. Thank you and have a good day.